I'm sorry. Maybe I did compromise my integrity by taking all of that R-rated nudie junk, but I certainly don't feel like an artist anymore. I'm all confused about my principles and my passion and my purpose. And it's too late to be a nun now. At 28, heartbroken, disillusioned, I decide to enter therapy. 1975. I'd been in group therapy at the Free Foundation for 6 months when the executive director invited me to start private therapy with him. Dr. Eugene Landy was a famous hotshot. He treated rock stars and movie moguls, and I was thrilled at the prospect of having some one-on-one therapy. But I couldn't afford his movie star prices, and I didn't want to do anything where there were sexual favors. I had been learning that when most men offered to help me, sex was expected. And I had girlfriends who'd had affairs with their teachers, professors, therapists, and their lives got very messy. In therapy, I had been working so hard to be honest with my feelings, to respect them and communicate them directly. So I screwed up my courage and asked Dr. Landy to his face if he was trying to get me into bed. No. Totally unethical for a therapist to have sex with his patient. I was so relieved. He was some kind of genius. He was whip smart and incredibly intuitive. He could read my feelings long before I put words on them. He was also full of very practical, helpful advice, like how to walk past a construction crew without feeling humiliated, how to deflect the aggressive asshole's sexual demands. One week he gave me the assignment not to say, "I'm sorry," for 7 days. Not if I stepped on someone's foot, interrupted a conversation, or let out a loud fart. Wow, I'm sorry, that was hard. Ever since Danny and I had split up, I've been having a number of casual affairs. Producers, writers, directors, photographers, having fun, mostly, yeah. One weekend, I accepted an invitation to fly to Manhattan, but I got back in time for my session on Tuesday. I flew first class. There was a suite at the swanky hotel waiting for me, and we had front row seats to see the new Fosse musical, all in exchange for a brief romp in the sheets with a Hollywood producer. I felt so sophisticated and glamorous. You mean you were a high-class call girl for the weekend?
No. Oh.
Is that what you want to do with your life? No, it was just spontaneous and fun. No one got hurt. It was a grand adventure. There was a limo at the airport, and he gets up and walks out of the office. My eyes smart with sudden tears. Have I driven away my therapist? A couple of long minutes later, he returns. Okay, here's the proposition.
Oh.
We're going to dissolve the doctor-patient thing, and we'll be lovers for 30 days. glad you're my therapist. If I had sex with the one man I was learning to confide in, to communicate with fearless honesty, then I'd lose this very valuable advisor. Besides, this is a famous hotshot. What does he want with fucked up, scared, recovering from the smarmy underbelly of R-rated soap operas me? If we have sex, things will never be the same. I'm sorry. I mean, you are the one light and beacon of truth in my life. Things will never be the same. You're right. They just might get better. Besides, I can't be your therapist anymore. You can't? Why not? Because I'm falling in love with you, Alexandra. Give me 30 days. 30 days. 30 days. Let me show you what you've been missing. I can help you grow into the woman you've always wanted to be. I promise. Oh, Jesus. What do I do now? I stand on your doorstep and reach for the bell. My hand hesitates. A mist wafts up from the bricks, seeping that old deja vu, like the first step of an ancient journey I traveled once before. Nonsense. I square my shoulders. I push the button. Later in that evening, when you reach out to me, your open arms, a promise, a guarantee, I freeze. I step back. I look over my shoulder. You're one of them. You're a man. You can't be trusted. And I can't trust myself around you. But then you say the damnedest things, like you know the geography of my bones and the architecture of my heart and the climate of my womb. I eye you carefully. Why do I think of my grandmother, my Doy, with her massive bosom of crushed flowers and her fierce belief in me? And then there's your Brando mouth and your bad boy bravado. What's a girl to do? I take a breath and decide to gamble once again on great expectations. I step into your arms and come home. I signed a document officially withdrawing from therapy, and Eugene and I embarked on our 30-day trial love affair. The man who knew the inner workings of my heart and all my crashes orchestrated an amazing whirlwind courtship of romance and roses, trips to Mexico, Montecito, long, painful, grueling therapy sessions that felt like root canals, followed by mind-blowing sex. Gene tracked down and slew the worst of my Catholic demons, digging into and exploding the entrenched misogyny, guilt, and martyrdom infesting my psyche. Now, I realize this situation is unorthodox and certainly not for everyone, but I never felt taken advantage of. On the contrary, I felt so lucky. A win-win win-win situation, intensive therapy and rapturous romance. After the first 30 days, we renegotiated to another 30 days, committing only 1 month at a time, not bound by any marital contracts, but only by the beating of our hearts. Right from the start, Gene mounted an intense campaign to get me back to college. Therapy can only go so far, he said. Your brain is famished. Well, I resisted, but eventually discouraged by showbiz and uncertain what to do with the rest of my life, I went back to school. I drifted towards feminist studies. I read Simone de Beauvoir, Maria Gimbutas, Rianne Eisler, Gloria Steinem, Naomi Wolf. I am astonished to discover the depth of the cultural cover-up, the triumph of violent patriarchy over peace-loving egalitarian tribes, and the cult of the great goddess. Yeah, all of this, women were no longer valued as potent creators of new life. No, but they were held in contempt, scorned as chattel. All of this really bad deja vu, like going back to my catechism, which I'd fallen for sink, line, and hooker. Sexual pleasure for women was forbidden, dangerous, disgusting, wicked, and brutally punished. So how's a woman who likes sex ever going to sneak into heaven? Cover my body with hot kisses, sing me out of my mind, sing me into my soft animal body, sing me awake, sing me alive. Yes, lucky for me, I had my stalwart, intrepid Dr. Champion by my side. Gene was a wild and passionate lover. We mapped the heavenly wow. Orgasm after orgasm after orgasm, and he adored me. He adored me. He helped me find my voice and mentored a series of tremendous growth spurts. Gene was a human growth hormone. What had begun as a relationship between doctor, patient, teacher, student, evolved, matured, flowered into a loving partnership of equals and friends. We moved to Hawaii, heaven on earth, a place where the goddess is still venerated, and Eden throbbed around us. We renegotiated our pact 365 times. That's 365 months, 30 years, 5 months of heaven. Until Gene was diagnosed with terminal cancer, until death swooped down to claim him in its jealous talons, until we were both kicked out of paradise and I landed on my ass. Oh, death. You're a killer. How could someone that smart and magic and loud be dead and gone? Sad, 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 all the time sad. I try to move, back on my feet, but every step involves the tearing of little roots, little tissue-like fibers that have interconnected us, we're symbiotically connected for over half my life. And every night, these little fragile fibers would grow back and have to be retorn, reseparated, every morning of fresh anguish. To be or not to be. For a while there, I flirt with the idea of checking out, giving up on heaven, surrendering the whole cockeyed dream. If only I could be sure Gene was waiting for me on the other side, his arms open wide to welcome me. Aye, there's the rub. For who knows what lies in that undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveler returns. Okay, now wait a goddamn minute. If I were to check out at 58, I would be betraying Gene's fierce belief in me and life's splendid possibilities. Now is not the time to wimp out and give up. No, now's the time to gather my resources, take a deep breath, and execute a perfect backflip into the unknown, splashing into the embrace of universal surrender. Of course, sex is over forever. I'll never find another lover like Gene, someone who loved me so deeply and passionately and revered the goddess within. But I've had over 30 years of deep sexual love, far more than my share, and I'm very grateful. So I push myself up and prepare to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, moving forward one step at a time. Left, right, selling the house, closing his practice. Left, right, singing my loss, dancing my grief. Left, right, moving back to LA, leaning into darkness. Left, right, breathing my heart, writing my thank you notes. Left, right, thank you, thank you.